Hi, my name is...
Dredge. Dredge is not just a fishing game, it's a fishing game with a twist. After dark it becomes a Lovecraftian fishing game. The world around you is teeming with creatures from the void, and when the night sets in, our worlds collide and cosmic horrors enter our realm. Not as scary as your ex-mother-in-law, but still terrifying things. So ideally you want to return to a harbor before the night sets in, so you won't become a dinner for some malevolent demigod of the depths. You can also dock in some safe location and sleep during the night. Of course, it is easier said than done, because the game uses a very cool time management mechanic. If you do nothing, time doesn't move. Like for real, if you just swing on the waves and admire the horizon, you can stay like this forever. But when you start sailing, the timer starts ticking, and at 6 PM Lovecraftian madness starts to settle in. This is a wonderful and honestly kinda relaxing game. Well, except when you go into mangroves. Oh, it's not relaxing at all. Anyway, the game is absolutely 10 cold beers out of 10. A must play. Palworld. The game has hundreds of thousands of reviews on Steam and the score is above 90%, which makes this game a true masterpiece. Yeah, we all know that this is a Pokemon game without Pokemons, but that changes nothing. Palworld will enchant you with a massive open world where you can peacefully live alongside mysterious creatures known as pals, or risk your life to drive off a ruthless poaching syndicate. Pals can be used to fight, or they can be made to work on farms or factories. So you're tiny slaves. What a nice concept, but wait, it gets worse. You can obviously sell them or even eat them, and the game calls this peaceful co-living. Well, who am I to judge? Anyway, Palworld is not just an easy walk in the park, it's a survival game as well. So in a harsh environment where food is scarce and vicious poachers roam, danger awaits you around every corner. To survive you have to be careful and make difficult choices. You know, you have to eat your pals if things go south a bit too far. So use your pals as you want. Farm, build factories, or commit crimes and become a mighty slaver. In online co-op mode, up to 4 players can play together. And additionally, a dedicated server can allow up to 32 players in one game. That's how you make friends, if you don't have any. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Bound to protect a young lord who is a descendant of an ancient bloodline, you become the target of many vicious enemies. When the young lord is captured, nothing will stop you on a perilous quest to regain your honor. Well, except death. Death will stop you many times. Keep in mind that Sekiro is the creation of the same developers as the Souls games, and it's meant for people with masochistic tendencies. If you hate yourself, this game is for you. Although I have one piece of advice on how to easily beat this game. It's very simple. Stop being a noob and get good. This war of mine. Here you will take care of a group of civilians trying to survive in a besieged city, struggling with lack of food, medicine and constant danger from snipers and hostile scavengers. The game provides an experience of war seen from an entirely new angle. The pace of the game is imposed by the day and night cycle. During the day, snipers outside stop you from leaving your refuge, so you need to focus on maintaining your hideout, crafting, trading and taking care of your survivors. And at night, take one of your civilians on a mission to scavenge through a set of unique locations for items that will help you stay alive, you know, like medicine or a box of beer. Teardown. This sandbox game features a fully destructible and interactive environment. Here you can plan the perfect heist using creative problem solving, brute force and everything in between. Tear down walls with explosives or vehicles to create shortcuts, stack objects, build structures or use floating stuff to your advantage. Run, drive, jump, slingshot, here you can do whatever you need to achieve your goal. Avoid robots or steal whatever your client asks for, but make sure not to get caught. The game has not only sandbox mode but also a serious campaign where you start accepting work from more or less shady persons. This is a story of a murky soup of revenge, betrayal and insurance fraud. Yeah, that kind of depth in, as it seems, destructible environment engine is absolutely wild. You soon find yourself stealing cars, demolishing buildings, blowing up safes, avoiding trigger-happy robots and many more. The game has above 90% positive review score and is more than worthy of your attention. The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. So this is a Lord of the Rings game that focuses on dwarves and their shenanigans. Here you will embark on an adventure to reclaim your legendary home of Moria, beneath the Misty Mountains. You can go alone or join forces with other players to survive, craft, build and explore the legendary mines teeming with danger. Here you will mine ore to craft gear and resources. But beware, mining makes noise, and noise created in the quiet deep threatens to awaken the dangers below. Remember when Pippin touched a skeleton and that was kinda enough to awaken Balrog for the second time? Yeah, you want to avoid that. You know, monsters are just trying to sleep and you are that noisy neighbor everyone hates. Yeah, you are not the good guy. So this open world base building survival crafting game has very positive reviews and you can play it together with your mother-in-law to strengthen your bond. Interstellar Space, Genesis. Here you will build a prosperous galactic empire and colonize the vastness of space, or, you know, fail miserably and be colonized by aggressive alien species before going extinct. Anyway, the game takes classic turn-based Space 4X strategy mechanics, adds in a few twists of its own and merges everything into a truly interesting specimen. So here you can play as one of 6 original races, each with their own abilities, advantages and backgrounds. You can also design your own custom races, with their own creepy or cute worlds, racial traits and unique game-changing abilities. The game has a very positive review score, so if you like 4X space strategies, that is a great choice.
Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden.
Despite the fact that this is a single-player game, here you will play as a ghost hunter couple who vow to protect the living from the threat of lingering ghosts and specters. In a disastrous last mission, the woman was fatally wounded, becoming one of the spirits. So in the haunted wilds of North America, the couple desperately searches for a way to liberate her from the curse. Basically, the game copies the main aspect of The Witcher. You hunt monsters as your main profession, although the gameplay is more similar to God of War. So in the process you will immerse yourself in a beautiful story between 2 fated lovers. As Banishers, you will enter the lives of simple communities and solve haunting cases in a mythical, lore-rich world plagued with supernatural creatures and ancient secrets. Sounds cool, and the general public mainly agrees by giving it above 80% positive review score. Lightyear Frontier. Here you land on a beautiful, vibrant planet and have to find your mech. Yeah, here you and your machine are almost inseparable. All the building, walking around and exploring is being done by you controlling this huge, a bit sentient mech, who sometimes makes a funny comment or two. Reminds me of Riftbreaker. One of the coolest things here, I think, is visuals. I rarely see this kind of polish in these kinds of games, and this beauty can be immortalized by the game's photo mode. Yeah, some serious AAA games quite often get a full release version without photo mode available, and here you can take wonderful pictures of yourself whenever you want. So basically this is a crafting and building game, so you have to roam around with your mech and collect various resources, then convert those resources into some machines, buildings or anything you like. Although this game is not only about mech upgrading, crafting and building, the exploration part is here as well. Not as big as I would want it to be, but when I played it, I found some dungeons where I couldn't go with my mech, so I had to leave my machine in order to squeeze myself into tight places. That is a nice touch. If you like these crafting games, there is a huge chance that you will like this one as well. Synergy. In this visually beautiful city builder, your goal is to build a town to help your citizens prosper. You will need to explore, analyze and experiment with new things, because the well-being of your citizens is the main objective. You don't want to be a moron dictator, we have plenty of those in real life. Here you will need a deep understanding of the environment to help them adapt and thrive. Newly acquired knowledge will provide you with an essential guide to obtaining resources, ensuring the safety of your people and optimizing your town. This quest for knowledge will also provide you access to several new buildings, from extraction structures to social spaces, from harvesting points to places of culture. People on Steam are saying that the art style is breathtaking. The game is charming and has very interesting features never seen in similar games. The review score is very positive, so most likely if you try the game, you will have fun. Squad. This is a tactical military action first-person shooter. You can compete in massive scale 50 versus 50 battles and work with your teammates. So basically there are a lot of dudes who can just snipe you the moment you show yourself out in the open. Make sure that your patience is strong. You'll find a wide selection of realistic faction-specific weapons and vehicles, allowing you to build your own equipment that best suits your preferred tactics. The game features 13 factions, 24 huge maps, and a massive arsenal of weapons and vehicles. The combat here was designed to provide the most fun, immersive, and authentic infantry experience possible. Well, the game has around 80% positive reviews, so I would say that is a success. Cool thing is an in-game communication system that allows you to talk to other soldiers locally, in squad, between squad leaders, or even to the overall team commander. You know, shout atrocities, get banned, the usual. Just be sure that you have a nice PC, because the game is not very optimized and can melt your hardware quite easily. Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. If you ever wanted to know who would win the battle between an army of armored ducks or one Chuck Norris, or between an angry Tyrannosaurus and John Wick, it is your game. Even if the main game lacks some heroes, mods have it all. 10,000 Obamas versus the same amount of ostriches? Sure. A Jedi versus 7 Jesuses? Of course, make it happen. Also keep in mind that the technology here lets you generate hundreds of thousands of units at the same time, without frying your PC, and the requirements are not super high as well, so the game has it all, but that's kinda it. You will be entertained for a day, maybe two. Although I can say from my own experience, it will immerse you for hours, and your will must be legendary to just stage one epic battle, watch it, and go back to work. This ain't gonna happen, so be sure you have plenty of free time before installing. Timberborn. Humans are long gone, our place is taken by beavers and you are in charge of them. So the question is, will your society of lumberpunk beavers do any better? And I mean real beavers, I'm not talking about the beaver of your imaginary girlfriend this time. Although I'm not gonna lie, a society of these would be quite interesting. Anyway, Timberborn is a city building game featuring modular vertical architecture and water control mechanics. But be aware, the game contains high amounts of wood. So he will control smart beavers and pursue the glory of civilization. Well, these beavers will be as smart as you, so it might very well be that they are already doomed. U-boat. This is a simulator of a submarine from the Second World War era, yet it is different from other more action-oriented games. U-boat is a survival sandbox with crew management mechanics, while its primary theme is life of German sailors. The boat is their home, but it can become their grave at any time. The game is influenced by Fallout Shelter, XCOM, and also the movie Das Boot. They even use the same decals for the submarine as seen in the movie. So you will have to control the crew in order to control your boat. You will look after their mental and physical health, make sure the sailors won't become angry or tired. If their spirit is low, there is a chance of whining, bad morale, and even a skirmish. So as real Germans back then would say,
yeah, so take care of them and make Hitler proud, ja, by sinking those ships of capitalist America, ja, Bier mit Sauerkraut, ja, wunderbar.
Farthest Frontier. This is a city builder survival colony sim from the creators of Grim Dawn. So here as always, you'll have to protect and guide your small band of settlers to forge a glorious called Beristan from untamed wilderness at the edge of the known world. You'll harvest raw materials, hunt, fish and farm to sustain your advancing town. Also produce crafted items for villagers to trade, consume, equip and fight with as you battle for your survival against the elements and outside threats. The game will also test your management side. Here you'll harvest 14 different materials, grow 17 types of food, and construct 50 types of buildings. An overkill? I don't know, it seems so, but the review score on Steam is very positive, so who am I to judge? Dead Island 2. I played the game when it came out and I can honestly say that it was an awesome experience. One of the common misconceptions was that Dead Island 2 is an open world game, but in reality it is quite linear, and I love that, especially after Dying Light 2 with boring copy-paste assets all around the map. When I played Dead Island 2 I could honestly tell that they did their best in making the environment engaging and original. Well, a few copy-pasted paintings can ruin the immersion sometimes, but the whole picture, pun intended, was great. And I can say for sure sure that this is not a full-fledged horror game. It is more like arcade hack and slasher with a few horror elements. Alright, and a few creepy jump scares as well. The gameplay is fast-paced and fun. The feeling of the recently started apocalypse is there as well. In short, this game feels just right, and it is nicely polished. Inertial Drift. Usually I avoid car games on my channel, but so it happened that a few years ago I played the demo of Inertial Drift and I really liked it. It is a super beautiful and really entertaining racing game, and also the price of it is more than great. You must hate gaming in general to ignore offers like that. I'm kidding, of course. Anyway, the game is set in 90s retro future, and it is an arcade racer with a unique handling model and satisfying twin-stick drift mechanics, so don't play it with your keyboard, please, just don't. The game will offer you 16 unique cars with various characteristics to master, and you can drive those in 20 handmade tracks while listening to retro electronic music and admiring beautiful landscapes. Well, honestly, you will have all your attention on the car, so if you are not born in Chernobyl and don't have an additional pair of eyes dedicated for admiring horizons, that may be a hard thing to do. Anyway, this is a great arcade racer, fun no-brainer after a hard day at work. EVERSPACE 2. This is a fast-paced, single-player space shooter. You'll explore a world ravaged by war. A massive handcrafted area is packed with secrets, puzzles, and perils to encounter. Also, the game is looter-shooter, so every enemy you slay will give you something nice. Here you are, a clone pilot seeking your place in the universe. The events of your past tangles with clashing factions as the world around approaches a boiling point. You will have to escape colonial capture, navigate the intrigues of local warlords, evade energy-maddened cultists, and fend off war-hungry aliens. Yeah, those bastards want to rule the part of the galaxy you live in, so you will discover alien species, unveil mysteries, find hidden treasures, and defend your cargo against outlaw gangs. The campaign spans for 30 hours, a very nice amount for a single-player game. But this is just a tip of a dick. Completionists can dive deep into the EverSpace universe and spend more than 90 hours to complete every side mission, finish every challenge, and discover every hidden secret. So if you really like the game, it will give you more challenges as well. People who play the game are agreeing on one thing. This game has no BS, it actually feels like video game where you have to control a spaceship and shoot things down. Also, it has RPG elements and great customization options. Mind Scanners. This is a retro-futuristic psychiatry simulation in which you diagnose the citizens of a dystopian metropolis. You locate a host of weird characters and use arcade-style treatment devices to help them. Manage your time and resources to keep the structure in balance. And remember, you take full responsibility for your patients. If you ever played and liked the game called Papers, Please, this may be your spoon of potato salad, and vice versa. Mind Scanners is definitely not for everyone, but a very positive review score on Steam is a good indicator that the game is good. Depending if you like the game or not, you may spend from 1 to roughly 10 hours playing it. Laysara, Summit Kingdom. It is a real-time strategy city builder colony sim with pause, meaning that you can issue commands while eating delicious potato salad without any stress. So here during a campaign or sandbox playthrough, you will establish multiple towns, each on a unique mountain with its own traits. Each mountain also comes with a new set of challenges. They differ in shapes, vegetation zone layouts, resource availability and weather conditions. One of the ever-present dangers you will have to deal with are mighty avalanches. You can't stop them, obviously, but you can take precautions and be prepared. Afforest the key areas to create natural barriers, build artificial ones to redirect rushing masses of snow, or trigger the avalanche early while it's still manageable. That is a really dangerous activity and it will put you on your toes. So when I said that you can play it without any stress, I lied. Garden Story. This is a social sim and adventure RPG where you play as Concord, a newly appointed village guardian. There is lots to keep you busy. Not only your neighbors need assistance, but a mysterious rot has seeped into the foundations of once flourishing island. Honestly, that part of the story is a shameful ripoff from Yonder Cloudcatcher Chronicles, or from a never-ending story. Although that doesn't really matter because this game is really different in many other aspects. Anyway, he will help your friends with their struggles and they will help you through yours. You know that raging addiction to pineapples in your potato salad will not go away by itself. You need help. So here you will have to balance caring for the environment, exploring new regions and fostering new friendships as you solve puzzles and help restore the grove to glory. House of the Dying Sun. This is a tactical space shooter that puts you in the cockpit of the Empire's most deadly interceptor and in command of the Harbinger fleet. You will hunt down the enemies of your dying empire and upgrade your warships with new weapons and abilities earned during your campaign of terror. Well, it seems that you are a bad guy here. Anyway, gamers are praising amazing sound design, exciting combat and great visuals. The only bad thing is that the game is super short. Still, longer than your ding-dong. Jokes aside, for you to beat it, it will take less than 4 hours. Although by reading comments on Steam I saw guys who have from 10 to 40 hours of gameplay on record, meaning that the game, at least for some of us, has great replayability. 9-bit Armies, a bit too far. Most of us know the 8-bit RTS series, and this is the latest game in the franchise. In 9-bit Armies you will rally your military forces across a variety of battlefields and act out your strategy over land, sea and air. Yeah, the holy trinity of every good RTS game. You will deploy your airborne soldiers, destroy bridges and aim your super weapons at your puny enemies. You can also join others online, playing together with your friends in co-op campaigns or against them in a mix of skirmishes supporting up to 8 players. The game is filled with various innovations like swimming infantry or sharks who can eat them, but the UI and whole setting looks and feels very close to Command & Conquer, so you will feel right at home here. 9-bit Armies will provide a bit better and smoother gameplay, better map layouts and medal system kinda similar to StarCraft 2 campaign achievements. You can download new maps and mods with full Steam Workshop integration and discover new ways to render all to burning bits and bytes. You can also upload your own mods and maps to share with friends and foes alike. Game also supports LAN PvP, so you can organize wild parties with your friends and keep your virginity safe like never before. Outcast, Second Contact. This is the complete remake of the old-school title, which sparked the open-world action-adventure genre. You will take the role of elite soldier and explore the planet Adelpha with complete freedom. As you journey in this world where magic and science mix, you will discover exotic cities, face fierce enemies and attempt to learn the secrets of an advanced civilization. Very positive reviews and more than affordable price are the key factors why you should try this game, but keep in mind that everything from the controls to UI and even fighting is a bit different from other games you may have used to play. All in all, this is a remake of a game that is almost 25 years old by now. Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. This is the sequel of the famous Hellblade Senua Sacrifice, where Senua returns to a journey of survival in Viking Iceland. As in the first part, here you will struggle to conquer the horrors of darkness by slaying puny enemies and by dealing with your own inner demons. The game has these almost photorealistic visuals, especially when you look at the faces. The expressions are amazing, every muscle moves as it should. You feel anger, pain, madness and of course hunger. Or a good bowl of potato salad. I got you here, I know. So the story unravels in 10th century Iceland, which was recreated from real locations. So basically there is a tour somewhere in Iceland where you can visit all the spots, or if there isn't, that is a business opportunity, no doubt. Anyway, this is a psychological, horror-infused adventure with a deep and captivating story, stunning visuals and cinematics. Review score on Steam is close to 90%, so the sequel is definitely worth your attention. Rustler. As developers say, they took the inspiration for the Rustler from the Monty Python and first 2 GTA games and made a medieval game out of that. I can remember playing the first part of GTA for hours and hours and skipping school because of it. Never regretted that. Anyway, the Rustler is a humorous approach to the medieval genre. You'll find stuff such as no parking zones for your horse and police horses that have flashing red and blue lights on them. Game is set in an open world and you play as the guy, whose parents apparently were too lazy to give him a proper name. You'll experience feudal justice, inquisition, witch hunting and join the grand tournament. Meet incredibly stupid knights, complete a wide variety of twisted missions and quests, or ignore the plot and bring mayhem in the villages and cities. Choose to go on foot or buy a stolen horse, fight with a sword or pick fancy automatic crossbow. All that spiced up with a Monty Python inspired sense of humor, and you can burn down the whole village as well. Besiege. This is a physics-based building game in which you construct medieval siege engines and lay waste to immense fortresses and peaceful villages. Build a machine which can crush windmills, wipe out battalions of brave soldiers and transport valuable resources, defending your creation against cannons, archers and everything else. Game looks beautiful, the art style is 10 cold beers out of 10, and the same is difficulty, at least at the beginning, because my machines did more harm to themselves than to their surroundings. Anyway, I promise you that after a bit of practice you will build your incredible mechanical potato of terror and destroy some peaceful castles. Stranded: Alien Dawn. This is a planet survival sim placing the fate of a small maroon group in your hands. You will forge your story as you make vital decisions to protect your survivors from thirst, starvation, disease, extreme weather and so on. You will plant, grow, harvest and hunt down food, provide heat, light, devices for relaxation and more to keep survivors on top of their game, ready to face the next challenge. Stockpile useful resources and salvage material from fallen space debris. Also research technologies to expand your horizons. You will rise from basic camps to fortified bases, create a stronghold to defend the survivors from attacks by alien creatures. This deadly alien world is home for various scary monsters, although not as scary as your ex-mother-in-law. People are saying that the game will keep you intrigued for hours, and no two scenarios are ever the same. Coral Island. Here you will leave the big city life and business in Pokio Metropolis and start a new life on Coral Island. Sounds like a thing most of us would want in reality, until you realize that farms like that are smelly and filled with creepy crawlers everywhere you look. Nearby grocery store is 20 kilometers away and your toilet is clogged beyond repair until the Monday, because the plumber is drinking vodka and the only thing he can fix right now is his soberness. So let us enjoy games like that through the safety glass of our monitors, without all the smell and spiders. So here you will create the idyllic farm of your dreams, where you will tend crops, nurture animals and build a bond with the natural world around you. You will revitalize the nearby town and its surrounding coral reefs, and forge relationships with a community of more than 70 fellow people who call Coral Island home. The game has very positive reviews on Steam and is probably one of the best things you can try if you like farming and life sim games. Voidtrain. People are saying that this surreal survival craft game is kind of similar to The Raft. That is never a bad thing, but keep in mind that you won't get a lot of action. Well, not as many as it may seem from the trailer or even from the screenshots posted on Steam. I watched Markiplier playing the game and it was a nice experience. The whole idea of collecting resources around you while moving on a train is nice, but one thing kinda bothered me. You always feel like you are in the dream. Everything is floating and, you know, anything can happen. And when something extraordinary actually happens, you are like,
Well, okay, I guess that's cool.
but you are never actually amazed. I guess that's the price of making everything so elusive. Although I love the idea of the game, I would love to travel around in some post-apocalyptic landscape instead. I think there is some similar game with zombies somewhere, but it's in 2D and it's not the same for me. Anyway, Voidtrain demo is also here, and it's free for you to try. Serious Sam 4. What if we make a shooter game but completely overpopulated with enemies? Then we get Serious Sam games with never-ending action and unstoppable carnage everywhere you go. So in Serious Sam 4, the iconic cast of alien invaders returns with new reinforcements, and you will have to slay them all. And you will. The game also supports co-op mode, so you can play with 3 friends and enjoy the action together. Although that number of friends nowadays is a bit unrealistic. Most of us don't even have 3 imaginary friends, so this number is a bit fictional. Anyway, single player is awesome as well. The game has a very positive review score on Steam. Also, you can try all the Serious Sam games. Most of them have even better review scores and are loved more by players, but they are a bit outdated and someone else's nostalgia isn't making them better if you never play them. Songs of Conquest. This game is as close to Heroes of Might and Magic 3 as it can get, but it doesn't have town screens. Instead of that, you will build your town like in casual strategy games, on the ground on the world tier. That kinda kills the mood, but everything else is by the book. It is a truly honest clone made in pixel art style, although even if you like the art style, like I do, sometimes you want to zoom in so you could look at the creatures and their features, but then you realize that you just zoomed in on a bunch of colored squares, and you can't even tell where the head or a butt is anymore, so no zooming here. Adore the visuals from afar, and you have to admit, what a beautiful game this is. I seriously want to eat it, or at least put it as an ingredient into my potato salad. Music is also amazing, like a honey to our ears, and the campaign is wonderfully written. You really care about your heroes and the fate of this land. And when you finish everything, you can enjoy map editor and create more of this game for yourself, or just download tons of content created by way more talented people than you are. No offense, I do the same. Moons of Madness. This is a first-person, story-driven cosmic horror game. Here the scientific exploration of Mars meets the supernatural dread of Lovecraft. The story begins when the mysterious signal has been recorded coming from the Red Planet. Corporate scientists decided that it is of intelligent origins and started to build an outpost on Mars to investigate the nature of the message. And you are one of the maintenance workers on that station without any idea why it is being built. Well, the rest is kinda self-explanatory. Brown substance hits the fan and you will have to solve the thing absolutely alone. Don't expect it to be a flawless game, it is not. It looks way better than it plays. But for this price, it's definitely a good choice if you like slow-burning Lovecraftian horror titles. Stasis, Bone Totem. Perhaps I should start with the fact that the game has an overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam. That is always a great sign. Here you will take control of Mac and Charlie, a husband and wife duo who make their living by searching the ocean for salvage. But when you stumble upon an abandoned oil rig in the Pacific Ocean, you uncover a horrific secret, and the evil corporation behind it will do anything to keep it hidden. As you embark on your adventure, you will encounter an immersive narrative filled with spine-tingling horror and unexpected twists. Stasis Bone Totem, despite being a psychological horror game, is kinda relaxing because of the point-and-click nature and an interesting puzzles to solve. Baldur's Gate 3. The discount is not very entertaining, but the game is. Baldur's Gate 3 is for sure the best game I have played since the third Witcher, and overall, in my mind, it takes 6th place among all the games I have ever played in my entire life. That is a sacred spot, knowing that I've been playing video games for the last 35 years. The game has an amazing branching story where your decisions hugely impact the world and your surroundings. Who you are, where you go, who you decide to befriend, kill, or bang, everything has a meaning. Dialogues are great, voice actors are the best in the business, freedom of choice is overwhelming, you never know what you will find. You know, once I tried to speak to a frog, I said something probably not very nice and frog tried to kill me, wiped out half of my party. But I befriended a witch who likes to kidnap and imprison simple folk from the village in her dungeon. She sells me nice stuff now. I killed all the druids and made friends with goblins. Then I didn't, and everything was different. I played the game 3 times and I will do that again and again. Baldur's Gate 3 is beyond amazing, 11 cold beers out of 10. The Chant. This is a nice single-player third-person horror action-adventure game set on a remote island. Your peaceful weekend turns to dread after a group opens a psychedelic dimension of terror that feeds off negative energy. So you could throw all the Karens of the world in it and keep everyone happy, but the protagonist never thought about that. So now you witness terrifying revelations about the cosmos, fight off the creatures, reason with the survivors, and unravel the legacy of a cult from the 1970s to reverse the ritual that caused all of this. The score on Steam hovers about 80% of positive reviews, so 4 out of 5 people like the game. The Outer Worlds. It is definitely one of the best RPG games I have played in recent years. It is funny, it has secrets, many guns and places to explore. It's not just Fallout in space, I had more fun playing The Outer Worlds than I had playing Fallout 4. Even if this is a bit smaller game, I can absolutely give it 9 cold beers out of 10 and recommend it to you without a doubt. But I have to mention that it has some cons as well, like unbalanced difficulty. You know, at first you die a lot, but later everything else dies in seconds, even the strongest monsters. Then you may think,
hey, I will switch from hard to the hardest difficulty.
But you can't. You have to play the whole game on this hardest difficulty without switching it off, because developers decided to add some stupid achievements most of the players don't even care about. So you will feel overpowered all the time and you can't do anything about that. That's why I didn't buy and didn't play the last DLC. I already feel like a combat god, everything just dies when I blink. Titan Quest Anniversary Edition. Initially the game was released in 2006, so it would be outdated by now, but thanks to this major overhaul, it is not. And it has more than 90% of positive reviews, so please, nail down your attention if you like games like Diablo. So if you ever played the old version, keep in mind that here you will get better resolutions, larger camera distance, multiplayer, mod support, Steam achievements, improved enemy and pet AI, countless bug fixes, dozens of new heroes, and so on. Titan Quest is a great game, one of the most beloved by the action RPG community, and I couldn't recommend it to you enough. It's literally like a potato itself in a potato salad, and people on Steam are saying that this is a masterful variation of Diablo formula and an absolute must-play if you like isometric hack-and-slash titles. Postal, Brain Damaged. In this boomer shooter spin-off of the Postal franchise, things are about to get weird. Everything happens in your brain, and that brain is not a healthy one by any means. Overwhelmingly positive reviews left by thousands of players say to us that the idea and the execution here is flawless. In-game you will encounter fast and challenging enemies and diverse environments. Also you will enjoy crude humor, nicely presented gore and fantasy violence. Anyway, people on Steam are saying that this is a great game with fantastic art and super entertaining gameplay, absolute gem and a must-play. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. Here you will take on the role of Peter Parker, who is fighting big crime and iconic villains in New York City. At the same time, he is struggling to balance his chaotic personal life and career, while the fate of the town rests upon his shoulders. Yeah, this Spider-Man has some experience, he's not a newbie by no means. After 8 years behind the mask, Peter Parker is a crime-fighting master, so here you will feel the full power of a more experienced Spider-Man, with improvisational combat, dynamic acrobatics, fluid urban travel mechanics and environmental interactions. You'll swing through vibrant neighborhoods and catch great views of iconic Marvel and Manhattan landmarks. Also, you'll have to use the environment around you to defeat murderous villains. And you don't want any murders in your town. Well, except those who die in the process of you fighting the villain. Those are acceptable losses, and nobody will ever miss those people. Everyone knows that. The game has an overwhelmingly positive review score and is a true gem for every Spider-Man fan. Iron Lung. This is a short horror game where you'll pilot a submarine on the alien moon in the ocean of blood. You'll navigate using an incomplete satellite map and proximity sensors, and will have extremely limited vision of your surroundings through the lens of a grainy still camera. Game may not look like much, but I dare you to try it. The setting will quickly build dread and paranoia in your veins, be sure of that. Iron Lung is super short, it won't take you longer than an hour to finish, so I suggest you to avoid watching gameplays, and even this short review is not what you want to see. At least I muted the sound, which is the main thing of this game. Anyway, one fun fact for the end. Markiplier played the game and he was so impressed he decided to make a movie based on it. It is finished but not released yet, although who knows when you are watching this video, so check it out just to be sure. Diablo IV. I played the single-player campaign of Diablo IV and I liked it. The game has really nice graphics, cool monsters and some incredibly creepy dungeons. Also, it's worth to play this game for the cinematics alone. They are done in this incredibly detailed Blizzard style and never disappointed me in any of their games, this one included. So here you can choose one of 5 classes and build your hero with skills, abilities and cosmetics, creating a champion that is uniquely your own. You can also buy additional cosmetics with real money if you are rich, but don't do that, don't encourage this behavior. Anyway, the coolest thing is, of course, your skills and the myriad of ways to kill your adversaries. The special effects are really awesome and I like the battles very much. One thing that I didn't like was level scaling. When you level up, so do your enemies. When you grow stronger, your enemies grow stronger as well. And that, in my opinion, defies the whole idea of leveling up. What is the point if I am level 8 or if I am level 48? If I kill demons at the same pace in the same place? Yeah, your spells are more shiny and explode with more fire, but it's not rewarding, because you never feel powerful. That's why after I finished the campaign, I just never played it anymore. For example, I have around 2000 hours in Diablo 2, and around 500 in the third, and I have around 30 in Diablo 4. That is a huge difference. But still, I played it and I had fun. So if you liked Diablo 2 or a third one, there is a chance that you will be disappointed in this level scaling change very much. Anyway, the game is fun to play with friends. I never did that, but I know a couple who plays it together all the time when their kids are finally asleep. I guess it's a good safeguard to not make more of them. Zoria, Age of Shattering. I played the alpha version of Zoria a few years ago and I was really impressed by this indie game. It's not perfect, but I can honestly say that I had tons of fun. So when the full version was released, I played it for my own pleasure again, and the feeling was the same. I was entertained. The game feels like a mix of third Warcraft's graphics and turn-based RNG heavy playstyle. While only the combat is turn-based, you can explore the world in real time. Also here you will have your base. You can make regular updates to it by unlocking new wings to the buildings, and by doing so you will be rewarded with either resources, quests or items. Also in your outpost you can plan and assign tasks for your companions. For example, send selected party members on a mission in which you won't participate, but will receive what they find along the way. These missions can end badly as well, although the main thing of Zoria is actual combat, and as I've mentioned before, this game is fun. Just keep in mind that it is made by 3 people and not by hundreds, like the third Baldur's Gate, so take my praise with a grain of salt. Ixion. Propelled onwards through a perilous journey, you are the administrator of the mighty space station, charged with finding a new home for humanity. Keeping the station sound and flying will require a firm hand and strategic thinking. You are constantly pulled between maintaining hull integrity, bringing in new resources and managing power consumption. What choices will you make when confronted with impending disaster? What will you discover out there in the dark? Probably nothing good. We all know that Borg is somewhere out there. SnowRunner. Well, this is officially a realistic driving game about getting from point A to point B while transporting various cargo. But I would rather call it a Souls-like roguelite puzzle game. Of course, not in the real terms, but rather metaphorically, because the game is insanely hard and you will be doing the same task again and again. Basically, here you have to drive a heavy load truck to the appointed destination. But the trick here is that the road is not what you normally expect. You will have to deal with snow and mud, ice, rivers, fallen trees, and so on. And if you get stuck for real, that's kinda it, you will have to try again. And of course, avoid mistakes of the past, which you can't in real life. You know, all the mistakes you made in your life led you to this very moment where you watch my video. Yeah, well, honestly, if you would have done something differently, you could have ended up in a lava lake instead, or in the belly of a shark. So maybe your decisions were not that bad. Pat yourself on the shoulder. The Entropy Center. Here an extinction level event has set the world on fire. You appear to be the last remaining person alive, so you could just move into rich people's houses or a bunker with fancy pools and golden spoons, but instead you are like, no, I'm going to the Entropy Center where mankind's only hope lies at its very core. So as you can see, this is a puzzle game, but it is so innovative and well narrated that it has above 90% of positive reviews. People on Steam are saying that the scenario of the game could be easily remade into a sci-fi movie. It's that good. And if you are not good with puzzle games, don't worry, the difficulty is quite friendly, although it will take time to get used to time rewinding logic. Sunset Overdrive. Here the Sunset City is under siege. A contaminated energy drink somehow has transformed most of the population into toxic mutants. For many it's the end of the world, but for you it's a dream come true. Your old boss? Dead? Your boring job? Gone? Yeah, sounds like a wet dream of every office worker, although my advice would be to search for a not boring job with a nice boss. I know, it's easier to tame a unicorn than that. Hell, what I'm talking about, it's easier to find a League of Legends match with non-toxic randoms. Anyway, here you will transform the open world around you into your tactical playground by grinding, vaulting and wall running across the city while using devastating, unconventional arsenal. The game presents itself as an open world with no rules. Run along walls, leap off buildings and grind power lines and rails to destroy your foes from every angle. Review score is around 90%, so if you like what you see, you know what to do.
And now thank you for watching, have a nice day and I'll see you next time. Bye.